Yeah, it might be. Audio's off. Um, yeah, today's my second stream on my Dragon Boon quest or whatever. And my location right now is around Columbus, Ohio. My first day, I didn't get very far today, to be honest, because it's kind of a synchronicity thing. I was in Akron, Ohio. Uh, what's up, Nick? I was in Akron, Ohio, or around there yesterday. Um, and I only went like 50 miles or 60 miles today. But I'm in Columbus now. And the reason why is because I was listening to a podcast called One on One, One with a J. It was this one. And I mean, I just picked this podcast at random because like I was driving and I plugged in my phone and I was just like scrolling through my thing looking for the first thing that looked interesting basically. And I pick this podcast. It's an old podcast. It's from 6 months ago. And it's number 111 one-on-one podcast, and it's speak it up a little bit so you can see the people. Juan and this guy Gordy, and the whole podcast is about owls, like how this guy got sober on 11/11 in November, and he started meditating under a owl's nest underneath a tree, and that's like the main topic of the podcast or whatever. And I'm driving on Route 71, I think it was, south from Akron, Ohio. And I'm like, the podcast just ends, and I'm like at exit 121. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to exit 111 just to like keep up with the theme of 111, right? And make sure I'm still alive. All right, cool. And so I get to 111, and it's the Ohio State History Center or something like that. And I pull in, get a hotel, and I'm looking for somewhere to go eat something. And I find this like I don't know like outlet center with a bunch of stores, and right next to it is a park called Minerva Park. Like owl, Minerva is an owl. So I go, this is definitely a sign, right? So I decide I'm gonna go see the park tomorrow, but it looks pretty cool from just driving by it. But where I'm at right now, I'm basically in the freaking hood right now. Yeah, Columbus, Ohio is not that great of a city, but right outside of it, beautiful, beautiful town right outside of it. Um, but yeah, that's why I didn't drive that far because I was kind of trying to like follow the signs or whatever. And also today I had to buy clothes because when I started this whole trip, I didn't pack anything like an idiot. I just took off. So so I had to buy clothes. I really ever bought clothes in my entire freaking life. Like they never mattered to me. So I was like, I don't know what size I am. The whole thing was an experience. Like I don't know what style I should buy. It was weird, like having it become real like that. I guess. Um, but yeah, what this is my final destination basically. This place right here, Beehive Peak. What does that look like? Right? That looks like a pyramid, doesn't it? Exactly like a pyramid. That's 5 miles west of Salina Canyon, Utah. Pyramid. And yeah, that's my final location for this. And that's where I'm at now. and I'll probably check out Minerva Park tomorrow, see what that's about, because there's some reason that creations tell me to go there, right? And sorry if my lips hanging out. I gotta dip in. But yeah, like my next spot will be, I don't know. I'm just letting the flow guide me. But what I was talking like what I was thinking about recently is diet. People's like this is has nothing to do with the Dragon Boat Quest, but like I was listening to podcasts or whatever, and Old World Florida was the podcast, and they were talking about diet because the dude from that is a vegetarian, and some people are carnivores or they do raw meat or whatever, and it seems to be like a big thing in human consciousness right now. Sorry about the noise. People next door are kind of loud in my hotel, but yeah, that seems to be the main thing. I wish I could bring up the chat without having to. Yeah, I am headed there to see for myself. That's the quest. I wish I could just bring up the chat. Like, what the frick? All right, I guess this works. But yeah, diet. Right now, the big thing seems to be between vegetarian and carnivore diet. Uh, and I think the actually I got a delay. I guess I'm not used to streaming. Sorry. I don't know how to just show my freaking screen. What the frig? Shit, amateur. Uh, damn it, I don't know how to make this go big. Anyway, I'll just leave it on this and hope that you can see me. Um, but the yeah, the carnivore diet and the vegetarian diet. Anyway, I'm starting to think that the diet is entirely based on belief. It doesn't matter what the diet is. That's what I mean. Like, if vegetarian, if you believe that vegetarian works for you, it works for you. If you believe carnivore, raw diet works for you, it works for you. I think that's the whole thing with it. Like, because there's people that are perfectly healthy but are vegans, even though they should be dirty hippies, right? But they're perfectly healthy, or they're vegetarian. Vegetarian is not a vegan, but they're like farmers, like Benjamin Balderson. He's a vegetarian, but he has cows and he eats like eggs and he has chickens and shit. But he's perfectly healthy. I don't know. It seems to be a belief thing, the whole diet thing. And if you look back in history, there's saints that apparently never ate. They like 20 years wouldn't eat. It was like they didn't feel hunger ever. Like Saint Germain, or and that's it's like a soft. It's almost like soft immortality for them, where they don't age. But I think there's also a hard immortality apparently in like the saints mythos. Some saints are something called a cephalophore. They have a term for it because it used to happen all the time apparently. And a cephalophore is someone who's beheaded and doesn't die. They can pick up their head and walk around with it. Look up. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but look up Saint Valerie of Limoges. I'll bring her up right now. Saint see what the chat's doing. Make sure I'm still going. See, look at her. No head. She holds the head up, and the head can still speak. Shit, that's insane, right? But apparently it happened. It happened so many times they had to make a term for it. Cephalophoria. Like what the hell is that? That's a hard. That's like hard immortality almost. Like you're actually like truly immortal. I don't know. The whole thing's kind of fascinating, but a lot of the saints had crazy powers like this. Um, but yeah, I think that the whole diet thing is a belief thing. It's not. My take is on diet is you heal what you eat. So if you got a bad heart, eat animal heart. If you got bad you break your bones a lot, eat animal bones. If you got bad eyesight, eat animal eyes. I need to eat animal eyes, but I mean it's kind of hard to find animal eyes. um, yeah, that's my take right now. And it's like it's hard for me to not believe that it works. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't that work? If you eat what you need to heal, why wouldn't your body use that as materials to heal you for that whatever you need to heal, right? Like it's my belief system believes that. Like it could not even be that. It could be that I could just heal my eyesight just by eating nothing. It could be like that. I don't know. It seems to be like a belief system thing though. Like it's the same with like the magic stuff. Uh, what did I want to do? Okay, yeah. Same. It's like the same with the magic stuff. Like um, first it's your belief system, and then you get into like conditions, belief conditions to build etheric or magical pressure. You're building pressure by having conditions. And once the pressure is built up, it reaches a threshold where a vacuum occurs. And then the vacuum closes following the path of least resistance. I made a video about it. But that's why I think the belief thing could work. And that that pressure thing, I don't know. Like some kind of testing needs to be done because there's it's too wide ranged for health, like the health and the diets. There's too many factors. It has to be narrowed down somehow to figure out what is actually happening. Especially with like I was going to talk about this, and then right before I was watching the stream, I was watching this guy, uh, Christopher Gardner, and Mushi Daniel podcast, and I they actually asked for questions beforehand, and like a week ago, I put a question. My question was, what do you think the most etherically um, strong or like most magical item in existence is, or something like that? And he asked the question for him. And they actually end up talking about belief systems and how like the placebo works, which is what I talk about in my Path of Least Resistance video, which I think is the magic system of the realm. Um, and he also talks about the placebo, and then there's the nocebo. And I've experienced the nocebo with, that's where like negative things happen because of what an authority figure says to like a patient. And I actually had it happen to my sister and my mom. Like my sister, when the whole uh, magical flu was occurring, my sister got the test, right? And this was like, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was, around Christmas time. So we were all staying at my parents' house. And my sister got the test. and my sister's a nurse. Both my sisters are nurses. My mom's a nurse too. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like saying, "Yeah, the CDC's proof that this stuff works is two hairstylists from Springfield, Missouri. That's their proof that the I don't know. I don't want to say the word. You know what I mean? That works. And that like seriously, like you could have went to that website and looked up the studies done to prove that, and that was the number one study. Two hairstylists from Springfield, Missouri, and I'm showing that to my parents and shit, and my sisters who are all nurses, and I didn't realize it at the time, but my sister got tested. The test read positive, and she was perfectly fine before that. Then afterwards, she gets coughing. She's coughing up a storm. And then my mom starts coughing. My dad starts coughing, and they get the test, and they're positive. Or my dad, I don't even think was positive, but he was still coughing up a storm because the test was. I can't say it, but people people know what the test was. Anyway, uh, that was a nocebo. Like if I thought about it from my parent, I should have thought about it like this from the beginning. But if I thought about it from my parents' point of view, or my mom's point of view, and my sister's point of view, as nurses, which is their career, like if it's not real, that means their career is their entire career is bullshit, and that can't like they couldn't register that. So it was a no SIBO thing. I witnessed it. I didn't get sick at all. They lost their sense of smell. They lost everything. I didn't get sick one bit. I lost smell for one day, which was odd. I don't know. I don't know why. But then I took like I breathed some turpentine and took some turpentine, but just in case. But I never got sick from it, even though I was living in the same house with them. And anyway, that was a new SIBO that I should have brought that up in my original path path of least resistance thing. Uh, another thing I want to talk about is this is a comment I made, I guess. I'm just being kind of goofy. Um, yeah, like with the diet thing, that arm wrestler guy. Let me delete all the funny business. Mm, okay, so in the old world Florida video, uh, the guy's name is Dr. Longo or whatever, and he's talking about diets. Like they start talking about diets, and he mentions the arm wrestler guy. He's huge on TikTok. Devin something. He's from Canada, and it made me think like, okay, what to a Canadian, what is more nutritious than maple syrup? And apparently, that's all that guy eats is pancakes and maple syrup. Canadian maple syrup. That's all he eats, and he's the best arm wrestler in the entire world, hands down. So, like diet, like you would think that he would have like he'd be like a carnivore diet or something. No, he just eats pancakes. So obviously, diet doesn't seem to play a role. It seems to be a belief thing. Um, yeah, like I even had a call. I had a call with this guy. His name was Sid. Um, we should do a call again. But he contacted me and wanted to do like a phone call from one of my articles on my website. And he brought up something really interesting. It's called the Max Sick system. It was this German guy who I think I can close this now. It was this German guy. Bring him up. this. The guy's name was actually Max
Filming them
Stick,
again.
and the guy had like a disease or something when he was a kid. So he wanted to like get stronger because his muscles were deteriorating or whatever, and he started doing like lifting or whatever. And his father was like, "I forbid you to do that or whatever because I don't want you to get hurt." So the kid was like, "Okay, whatever." And instead, he started training, like contracting his muscles, just like manually, like you see here on the screen. Like he would just like squeeze the muscle there, and then just like slowly build that up. And he did it with all of his muscles. And this is what the guy looked like. He looks better than modern day bodybuilders who uh, use steroids. There was no steroids in the 1900s, in the early 1900s. Dude was jacked, and he didn't ever lift a weight, ever. That's fascinating. He never touched a weight, and he's this big, and he could like do stuff with his muscles that no one else could do, like move them in ways that shouldn't be possible because he would do this. Like it was nuts, and it was all because he like concentrated on like what actually is occurring when he contracts his muscles. And I was in the chat room. Nico was in that chat room too. He was in the chat. Uh, Someone mentioned um, like when you contract them, the way to like train your intent, like how intent works, how you can like control that, is to train contracting your muscle and then doing it really slowly so that you can like track exactly like each tier, I guess, each tier of when like the muscle gets contracted and what what was the threshold that got it over the line where the muscle contracted, and that's how intent works, because intent's before thought, and it has to happen before you move your muscles, right? So that would be a way to like train how to actually like know how intent works, like that threshold. And a couple of people that supposedly can do telekinesis, the the way they train for it, the guy says that he practiced moving his finger and like focusing on what the threshold was when his finger would move and go from like not moving to moving. What was the threshold? And it's not thought. It has nothing to do with thought. It's intent. So he was like kind of training his intent basically. And apparently you can even see intent. Apparently, uh, it's like an aurora thing you can pick up on that these Russian dudes, crazy Russian martial artist guys, um, can do apparently, where they know where you're gonna move before you think to move there. So it's like you would be fighting a mirror of yourself, but the mirror is faster than you. It knows, like it's like if the mirror image of yourself knew where you were gonna move before you moved. It doesn't matter what martial art you practice, you would lose if they know where you're gonna go before you even think it. That's insane. Apparently, it can be methodically trained. I think it has to do with the whole telekinesis thing. Excuse me. um, yeah, the reason why I asked that question to Christopher Gardner, and his answer was pretty interesting. This the doctor's answer was the pyramids, and yeah, the pyramids have insane. The question I asked was just to refresh, was what item, like what would you consider the most magically, uh, etherically strong item in existence? Like what item has the most power, etheric power, basically? Like what item's the most magical in our realm? And the doctor guy said his answer was the pyramid, and Topher's answer was he's trying to make his house this item, the way he's building his house, because he's like a dome builder or whatever, and he's using like copper wire in the cement, in the geopolymer, and like biochar in the geopolymer. That's a circle, and it rises in a cone, kind of like Chinese or Japanese architecture, but like a little different. Like there's definitely something to the reason why their architecture looks like that. Same with the Russian, like the Kremlin. It's a spiraling cone, right? There's a reason for that, I think. It's like a etheric thing. And if you look into Van de Graaff machines, the, the like the spark that you get if you have a nail and you like a metal nail and you move the nail closer to the Van de Graaff machine, you can get closer to the Van de Graaff machine without getting sparked. But if you have a sphere, a metal sphere, and you get closer, you'll get shocked earlier. So basically, the curved metal um, like amplifies the power of that field. Like it's easier for it to transmit the like electrostatic charge, while the pointed metal makes it harder to transmit that electrostatic charge. And if you look at cathedrals, they're all curves and points. Like look at um, what's it called? Cathedral in Germany. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like insane looking. Yeah, Cologne Cathedral. That's what it is. Like that's all curves and points, right? So, so it's kind of like it's building pressure, etheric pressure with the curves, and then using the point to like hold that pressure, like freeze it almost. So it's like building pressure and then freezing it and not letting it release. Like be like if I think I gave an example in one of my videos, like in a football game, if the fans are like it's a great game, fans are going nuts, it goes to overtime, fans are going nuts, and then they tie. The game ends in a tie. Just think of that level of pressure that's built up from that, and then it just stops, and it's just held there. You know what I mean? Like it would be like I don't know. It like etherically lifts everything around it, right? And just freezes it there. I think that's what kind of what the cathedrals do is they build the pressure and then they freeze it almost. Uh, but yeah, um, yeah. Anything? That's the last thing I had on the agenda. If anyone wants to talk about something else, feel free to comment. I got to look at the chat through this now. Oh shit, 3:30 there over in Transylvania. Just kidding. It's an inside joke. Um, but yeah, I really don't have anything else. I'm gonna be doing these streams every day. So tomorrow I'll do another, and just keep going. If no one wants to say anything or ask any questions or anything, then I'll just end it here. I hope you enjoyed the